It's crazy. I started recording.
It's okay.
Welcome to Unwind Podcast. We're your hosts, Maritza
and Melinda.
Hey guys. All right. So
Hi.
I think today's topic is going to be a little bit of comedy, seriousness. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to bring some humor to it because
She always brings humor to it.
Yeah, I like to joke around.
But I think also one of our topics recently about domestic violence, it being finances, we wanted to talk about marital finances and finances in general.
Yep. So don't think this is an episode we're going to give you advice on making money, because if you have the advice, send it to us, because, you know, it's not about that. We're going to go into how it causes problems in relationships.
Yes, how it causes problems and how you can at least manage it a little better. Because, you know, I know that the economy is, you know.
It's insane right now.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So. Interesting is a good word. I would say crazy, but sure.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you're trying to save $1, but then they want you to spend like 10. Like, it's, it's crazy.
I mean, minimum wage up here in the tri-state has gone up. And right now, New Jersey is still, there goes the vibration.
I'm sorry.
But New Jersey is playing catch up to New York, because we are in... so close to New York. So they're trying to catch up still. But I thought, and I was corrected by my search, that finances were the number one leading cause to divorce. And it isn't.
No.
It is the second behind infidelity.
Yes.
Unfortunately. But it is the second, and it's still, that is a very large thing. So when going into a relationship, you want to have that communication and talk about finances, because I was watching a movie the other day, and it was a comedy, and the guy meets the woman, and she's like so perfect, and then he's like, I have to marry her, because if she goes to her job, like, then I'm gonna lose her forever. For 2 years she's moving away. I don't know the name because I didn't pick the movie. My husband was watching, and I was just like,
looking over his shoulder.
Looking over his shoulder on this. But when they're in the honeymoon, he realized it's not a job.
Oh no.
It's a volunteer gig.
Oh.
And he's like, I thought you were a scientist. And she wasn't.
Oh.
I mean, she was. But it's volunteer. She wasn't getting money from this. So it's also, you guys, it shouldn't be uncomfortable talking about finances. We should. I think that that's very important.
It is.
So nearly half of couples with $50,000 or more in debt say money is their top reason for arguing. Nearly 2 out of 3 marriages start in debt.
Yeah.
That's a big number. Talk about
it. What you have saved, what they don't have saved, because sometimes it can cause an issue. Because think about it, like if you are a saver and the other person's a spender, it's going to be a big problem, because you're on one end trying to save, and the other end, the other person is like blowing the money. Then it's going to be an argument boiling, ready to happen, because if you don't have this conversation and you guys, let's say you get married and you're saving and they have access to your account, and then all of a sudden you start seeing your account go in the negative or dropping rapidly, right? It's going to be an argument, because you're going to be like, what the heck? Like, why are you taking my money? And then they're going to contrast you and be like, oh, but it's our money. See, this is where it gets a little shaky, right? Because if you've been saving this on your own for a long time, and here, Melinda, is a good topic, right? If this is my question to you. If you've been saving this money for a long time and you've been working hard to it, you marry somebody, now automatically that person is also joining that account. How does that make you feel? I know how it makes me feel.
It would be tough. Absolutely. Yes. You know, that's why I think that before you get married, knowing what each other has, not for nothing, prenups protect you, even if you don't have like a lot, but you own something, you own a home, you own whatever it is. if you have assets, that should be a given. But absolutely, if someone is saving, and I in the beginning of my relationship with my husband, we were both in college, and he wasn't a spender. He was making little money. We were still in college, and it was a struggle. But good thing that I also was a saver.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounded even louder because he had it.
I'm sorry, putting it in my pocket right now.
I was a saver, so a lot of times I was able to, even though I wasn't working, contribute because I was a saver. So you also need that balance, but he wasn't a spender either. He's not a crazy spender. If anything, he says that I'm more of a spender, but either way, as long as our bills are paid and we have some savings, then I do spend a little more.
Yeah.
But I'm always spending on the house. If he can attest to this, I don't spend on myself, like clothing, purses, shoes. I don't buy lavish things.
Yeah.
I buy, I want to change the decor on the pillows. That's me.
Yeah. That's that's simple spending. I call that. It's the people that go out and they come home with like 30,000 bags and they're like, I just went to Target for one thing.
I deserve this. Yes, I'm sure you deserve it, but if you talk to Dave Ramsey,
yeah.
And also, early on, before actually we got married, we took the Dave Ramsey courses.
Oh, that's a good course.
It's guys, it is the best thing. The baby steps. The first step is to get your emergency fund. Have $1,000 in savings. And then the second step is paying off your debt.
Yes, that's crucial. And don't add new debt. Just because you paid it off doesn't mean you're going to be like, I can start fresh.
Yeah.
No, let's build a cushion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, start building a cushion. I think, so if you have heard other episodes, I've had a lot of, traumatic stuff with me, right?
Yeah.
So I am more than willing to have a joint account with my husband.
Yes.
But he was raised in a home where they don't do that.
Okay.
So I was raised in a home with my mom and my dad do that. Okay. And I've seen it work very well. It's like my mom is always the one that pays the bills, but they work well together, and so here it's now, right, the bumping of the heads.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I say, guys, I like to be a comedian when it comes to these things. So I'm like, all right, this is what you want. Now I'm just going to say this is what you taught me to do. And I will trying to emphasize hey, I think we need to be joint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I will so I got season tickets to the Jets for me and my dad. You know what I mean? But that's me. I'm all right, we have our house account and then there's individual accounts, right? This is the way I see it. So I'm all right, from my individual account, I bought the Jet tickets.
Yeah.
So then it was 2 tickets. Okay. And I say, well, if you want to be on the 3rd ticket, then your individual accounts you have to put into the payments. I was like, but if we had a joint account, then it would be no problem. Am I wrong or am I right?
So I am of the belief that I should have my own account.
Oh, geez. February people, okay? Again, she's born in February.
My husband agrees with me.
He's in February. When's his birth?
He's
not
May
Cancer.
18th.
Yeah, he's amazing. Find me a Cancer person. I'm July.
So, no, we do have a joint account, and we have a joint savings.
Nice.
We also have our own account as well, because there's times that I may want to buy him a gift, or
I agree with that.
He wants to buy me something, or he wants to, take out cash and play his lottery. I think that he should be able to have, whatever little thing for him on the side, and same
as long as everything is paid and you guys are talking about it, and it's And it has to be a conversation.
And I don't hide my purchases.
Yeah.
I mean,
me neither.
Yeah. He's like, another box, Melinda? Really? And I was like, well, it's for the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know?
Amazon is so tricky that way.
But my dad has always told me, always save in case shit happens.
Yes.
Because shit happens.
Yes.
And
we just had something happen in this house.
Yeah.
I'll share that in a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you know, I'm okay with the separate. I mean, now
with communication though, like not secretly. You know what I mean?
No. But I think I'm okay with that because we have a joint account.
Yeah.
We do have our joint account, and we
Maybe
go
if I
out.
talk with her more, she'll make me be okay with it.
Yeah, no, I think that as long as you have a joint account, you're putting in either the same amount or whoever makes the more money is putting that much, and then whatever.
Yeah.
You guys work the numbers out.
Yeah.
Right? And all the bills are paid, and you guys are going out to dinner on this account.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Kudos.
what we're doing.
Yes.
And there is...
Wait, you're saying go out to dinner with that account, right? So that means if money's pulled out of it, then together you put into it.
Correct.
Because you're using it for an outing for you two.
For us. Like if we go to a party, then we are buying a bottle of wine from that account, you know, for us to take to a house. A lot of times if we go to birthday parties, like my daughter's stuff, I just buy them on my account.
Yeah.
And that's me spending money. He fights with me actually. He's like, that's for a joint account. And I was like, yeah, but you know, I like to leave that for when we go out to dinner. I don't want to extra, you know, and I had saved, right? Because he pays the majority of the bills because that's how it works out. And so then whatever's left, I mean, I put into the... Yeah. But it works for us. That's how it works for us. I think my dad does it the same way. But I don't know. Like, I mean, each person is differently. I know people that are just like, all right, you give me this amount of money from your account. And it's split everything 50-50. Yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't be okay with that. But that's me. Yeah. But if it works for you, and it also, I feel like that type of relationship also, it eliminates a lot of the it eliminates a lot of the gray area. This is what needs to be paid. All right, we make about the same amount. 50-50, everything down the line. But
if you're equally making the same amount of money, because then it's not fair to the person who's not making the same amount of money.
Well, yeah, if you're about the same.
Like if somebody's making like $70,000 a year and the other one's making like 30, and you're telling them to split down the middle, now you're leaving the 30 with like $2 in their account. Like, you know what I mean? That's not fair either.
I mean, no, that's not fair. Yeah. But that's why talking about finances before getting into a marriage or moving into someone, moving in with someone, not into someone.
Don't do that.
Moving in with someone, I think that you guys have to discuss this. Who's gonna pay?
Yeah, it's a tough conversation though, right? Because when you be. I know, but I'm gonna, for those that are kind of like, ooh, right? Because sometimes it becomes a tough conversation because it's two people living their own lives, earning their own money, and then the conversation with the money comes into play, and it's kind of like, ooh, like, I like you, I love you, right? But do I trust you enough to see my finances, right? Yeah. Because there's people who have gotten burnt before. You know what I mean? Or this is the first person that they're like in head over heels over love, and they're like, sure, here's everything, look at everything, and then they get burnt. So now the next person's going to suffer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's a tough conversation because I think you don't know what to say. Yeah. Like, how do you start that conversation? Because then you can come off like, oh, were you like a money hungry person? Are you trying to be with me just because of my money? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so many ways. So I think like, find the way to have the conversation. I always say like delivery on how you say things is key, right? Because if you sit with somebody and you're like, yo, I need to know how much you make.
No, that's not the way.
I'm gonna have to be like, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work out.
I don't think, and also I think sometimes, here's something. Some people are just spenders. Oh yeah. And I think also majorly in the Hispanic community. Yep. We're taught that the outer appearance is very important. Mm-hmm. So we spend, and above I say we as...
Above your means.
yes, we spend above our means, either home-wise, car-wise.
Yep.
I've seen so many people have better cars than homes.
Which is ridiculous. I don't get that.
Better fits than, you know, the way that they live. And we have to be cautious. I think that that's also something that we want to bring awareness to our community too, because, you know, a veces you think, oh, pero los gringos no lo hacen así, you know, like they're not spending money. Someone who has money is not spending money recklessly on red bottoms.
No.
Or on,
legit.
You know, the GG belts, the Gucci belts, you know, like, I mean,
that's how they have money.
Yeah, you have to be, and it's not wealthy people. We're talking about the average, you know, person who's comfortable, the saver, that has a beautiful home, may have a decent car. You know, if you go to areas that are a little better, people who may have some sort of money, you will notice in their driveway, they do not have luxury cars.
Yeah. I will say, I learned this the hard way. I will make everybody laugh again. So when I was in the Marine Corps and I got overseas pay, I was like, oh, this money. And then I was like, I want to get a Mercedes, right? So I did. I got this little Mercedes. And then the first time something got wrong with the Mercedes that I had to go fix it, and they told me the amount, I was like, oh, you know what? I need to get out of this car. I was like, it is not in my little window of what I can afford. And I learned the hard way. So like I now say to myself, I'm like, I refuse to have a car payment that is similar to a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Like that, to me, that makes no sense.
Absolutely. Like, and also, if you're going to spend money on something, make sure you can buy it 3 times.
Ooh, repeat that one.
If you are going to spend money on an item, make sure that you can purchase that 3 times.
Ooh, I like it.
The reason is because you
that
do
means you can
not,
afford it.
Yes, you can afford it. You do not, just because you have made you got a bonus this month, or you made some extra money with some extra hours, that does not mean go spend it. I earned it. I work extra hours. Yeah, you've earned it, but you've also earned the ability to live a good life in the future. And when you set yourself up properly, you know, it's better. I think that also the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I had a single parent, you know, home. It was a single parent home. You know, my mom did the best that she could, and I had the best of everything. I'm not gonna say that I never felt left out, but I've seen the struggle. I've been in the struggle with her, because let's be real, she was a single mom, 1 income, raising a child by herself, you know. It's not easy. And especially when you want to give your kid everything, or the fact that you want to prove to the other parent, I'm good, we're good, you know, or the other family, you know, that we're okay. And it's been rough. But I've seen that, and so now I'm like, okay, I'm going to set myself up better for the future, for my daughter. And where my mom would buy me the most expensive sneakers, let's say, not saying that she did, but the nicer sneakers, let's say, because that she did, I would buy my daughter Payless.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Payless.
just, so do I. So it's just making the conscious effort. Well, let's go to Walmart, because Walmart has some good
They do
shoes.
have. They do. They have cute little shoes, and even the outfits they have there are cute.
Yep.
So like, don't sleep on Walmart.
Don't sleep on Walmart. But it's just like, you know, what is the need of buying the most expensive item? Now, quality versus quantity is also good. That's okay. If you want to buy the most expensive items, then
sometimes my husband says that to me. He's like, you want to go the cheaper route, but then it's going to cost us more in the long run because we're going to end up buying it like 3 times over.
Yeah, which with fashion and someone who likes to dress well, then okay, do that, right? Yeah. Because then you can do it that way. Now, someone who doesn't care as much, or like your basic white tee, I bought J. Crew basic white tees and black tees. You know why? Because I always use them year round. and I wanted it to last longer versus than my $5 Walmart ones.
Yeah.
Then
And even like with house products.
Yeah.
Too. Like, you know, so they do have like the lesser end value furniture, but then in like 3 years, 4 years, you're gonna have to buy it again because stuff falls apart, things break.
It's happened to me.
Yeah, me too. I'm not gonna lie. Me too.
Yeah,
because you do try to say like, oh, I want to save on like over here it costs like $5,000, where over here it's like $1,200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're in that moment, you're like, I'll do it, it's fine. But then you know I have to save, right?
Yeah.
Because if you want the better furniture, you have to save for it.
Yep.
So it's a give and take.
And Dave Ramsey says too, like when you go to the furniture store, make sure that you have it in cash. You know why? Because cash is king. Cash is king. Why? Because if you go to the furniture store, they want to sell you that couch.
Mm-hmm.
So if that couch is $1,500, so $1,500, then guess what? You can probably negotiate it down to $1,200.
Yeah.
You can most likely do it. You know why? Because if you're paying cash right then and there, they want that.
Yeah, because it's not a monthly payment.
Yes,
And they're not
with
doing
the car.
creditors or anything like that.
Exactly. And same with the car. They will give you a nice discount if you have the cash.
Yep. That's my vision right now, is to save money for a car and cash. Because my truck is already like close to 200,000 miles.
Well, she drives everywhere.
I do drive everywhere, you know, but that's also the family car, right?
Yeah.
But then it's also like taking care of the car, right? So I've learned, like with that story with the Mercedes, I learned that I have a Dodge Durango. It's an RT. I love it. And it's not as expensive to maintain.
Gas guzzler.
Well, it's a gas guzzler now
Yeah.
because it's like ridiculous, the prices, you know what I mean? But perfect example, I could fill up my tank, right? My Dodge Durango, drive to my brother's in Virginia, and I'll only use like a half a tank of gas. Mm-hmm. I'll be good. I drove my mother's Buick, the little one that you guys see out there, right? It's a little 4-door small Buick. I full tank, got over there, and I was almost on E.
Oh no.
Yeah. So then I was like, you see what I'm saying? I was like, this tank is what, the size of my fist? I was like, so I literally called my mom. I was like, Mom, I love you. Thank you for letting me use your car, because she was trying to save me from my miles on my car. But I was like, but I've filled up your tank like 5 times already. I was like, I normally with mine, I'd just like fill it up going, and then I'll tap it off when I'm coming back, and I'll have a half tank in Jersey to like drive around the rest of the week. But I was like, holy moly, like,
yeah.
I was like, it equals out. So it's, I don't know, it's weird. You gotta be smart. I always do like the calculations. Like when I'm buying stuff, like I'm like, if this is like 32 ounces, but the smaller one is like, let's say 12 ounces, and it's like cheaper if you buy 3 of those. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
My husband does the same thing. He does the math. He's a math guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job, Juan.
He's like, oh, it doesn't make sense to buy this one. It has this many ounces versus this one.
That's what I do.
Or sometimes, and it's good that he's good with numbers, because sometimes we'll buy the bigger one thinking that it's better.
Yeah.
No, not all the time.
It's not.
He'll be like, no, this has this amount of ounces. It's better to buy 2 of these because with that you get this many ounces and you're still paying $1 less. Yeah,
and that's what we do with our detergent.
Yeah.
Like I showed my husband that the other day because he would go grab the. I'm like, no, look. And I showed him that, and he's like, sure. He's like, sure. You figured it out? Go ahead, take it.
Right. But yeah, you know, just be conscious of, you know, what you spend, how you spend it. Have the conversations with your relationship. If you're by yourself, set yourself up.
Yeah.
And then that way you can expect more from someone else.
And go ahead.
No. I'm just saying more from someone else, meaning that you can't go for the rich guy and you have a poor mentality.
Exactly.
You know? So
I always say a comment. It's always like, oh, you have a rich man's mentality with a poor man's pocket.
There you go. That's true. You can't do that. You know, we have to be able to input, like, you know.
And if you are the one that's really good at saving money, then you know what? Make it not to make the other person feel less than or not educated. Make it a conversation where like, oh, you know what? I've been doing it like this for this many years and I was able to save, you know, XYZ. Let's see how we can do that for you. Yeah. You see the difference in that? It's like you're trying to say like, I'm trying to help you. I don't want to make you feel less than.
Yeah. Or like my husband and I did. And I think at this time we weren't even thinking about finances, or where we probably weren't communicating it. I don't know. I was just like, hey, I'm taking this financial class. Do you want to come with me? And that's what he did.
That's good.
And so I wasn't, not intentionally, I wasn't trying to force him to come with me, you know, to finances. No, but we both learned. It was all under my account and my name, but he was there with me, learning with me. And he is always listening to Dave Ramsey. And he's someone that is actually funny to listen to.
That's good. Maybe we'll put a blurb for him.
His podcast is great. He has a YouTube channel, I think, as well. He gives a lot of little nuggets, but his baby steps are gold.
That's good. I think it's crucial. It is, like, and especially now, guys.
And they teach you how to, like, for parents, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but they
college.
also, they teach you, so after you've done all your baby steps, then now you can set your kid up for college.
Yeah.
Do you imagine paying your... College is expensive. Being able to pay off all your debt and then now set your kid up for a better future where they don't have to have this debt when they leave school.
Yeah, because they have you fill out the FAFSA and they're trying to see like how they can help you with like grants and stuff. So I'm in that's where I'm at right now, right?
Yeah.
But essentially they're trying to show you like grants, like loans, not grants. I'm sorry, loans, and you don't want to take out these loans because then you're either you are taking the burden on, or you're setting your kid up to now graduate and then have a financial burden for many years, you know? It's hard. Like, there's a lot of, like, companies out there that do help with, like, starting college funds.
Yeah.
I know MetLife is one of them. I think any, like, health insurance, if you look into it, sometimes a lot of them have that, too. I know my parents did that for my brother and myself, but then we went to the military, so the military assisted with that.
Yeah.
And if you are a veteran out there, please, I'm going to emphasize this. Look into how you can assist your child, because a lot of colleges ask that in their applications, like, are you a child of a veteran? And sometimes people like overlook that, but that's because the school's trying to see if they have a grant money that they can give you. So, like, don't just sleep on, like, oh, I'm a veteran, but I didn't do anything. No, you're a veteran.
I got a grant, and granted, it wasn't a lot, but it was something. I got a grant, a scholarship, because I was first generation.
You see? Like, everything. Yeah. There's something, like, every question they ask, like, literally, if you're part, like, what is it, Native American, they have
There's
scholarships.
A grant for that.
Yeah, there is.
Yes, you have to look up.
Minority grants.
We will provide whatever resources we can.
I have a lot.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in that era right now, so trust me, I have a
whatever
whole bunch.
resources, we'll list them for you guys to use, because we got to set ourselves up and our future stressful. Up. Yeah, we
Money
don't want
stressful.
it to be stressful.
Listen, at the end of the day,
it shouldn't be stressful.
You shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck.
No.
Because that is not a way to live. You're going to be stressed out. You know, the government does offer help, but right, you shouldn't try to live your life to live off the government, because at the end then you're teaching your kids kind of like that's the pattern.
I've seen someone who I saw someone who literally like had government assistance for things, went to college, was a single parent, and bought herself a home, and has now her career and has been able to send her kid to private school. Yeah. You know, but she used the government assistance to set herself up.
Exactly. And that's the right way to do it.
And that I like, if people use it for the right resources, because this is a resource, and set themselves up for gain, not to stay in the same cycle, then you know that you're setting your kid up for the future as well. Like, that's gold.
It is, and it's crucial. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think this episode was a good tool.
Yeah.
We did laugh a little bit.
I know.
But it is a good tool. Like, you did, you know, like, I like her little saying, right? If you can't buy it 3 times, then don't buy it. I love that. I'm going to teach my kids that. That's awesome. That's a good That's a good saying.
If you can, but I mean, we're all guilty of doing
Yeah.
this, right? But you know, don't do it because of the gram.
Oh,
To
right.
then post pictures or
Right.
to like,
You know how many people fake these pictures?
as
But
somebody
you know how
else.
many people fake these pictures? Come on, people. Let's
You
be
can
real.
rent the dress. You
Literally.
can rent the purse.
You can go Airbnb. Come on.
Fake.
Go to somebody's backyard. It's fine.
Guys, you know what? Thank you so much
Yes.
for listening and tuning in on
it was a good one.
another episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next week. Make sure